Hello, beings of light. Today, you will learn about Nilton's NDE, near-death experience. After a hang gliding accident, he left his body, and the most incredible part is that he has real proof that there is life after death. Shall we hear his story? My name is Nilton David, and I'm from Jundiaí, Sao Paulo. I've been working in aviation for many years, starting professionally in the propeller industry in 1972. For 25 years, I manually produced wooden propellers. In 1974, inspired by some Frenchmen who presented hang gliding in Rio de Janeiro, I decided to build one myself. In 1975, I began flying with my own hang glider, the first one built and flown in Brazil. In 1976, I had an accident during a flight that changed my life forever. That day, I motorized my hang glider, making it the first motorized hang glider in Brazil. During the flight, I noticed my body was too high, removing all the stability from the flight. After gliding for about 30 meters, the hang glider started to sway uncontrollably. I tried to regain control by pulling the sidebar, but that only made the glider dive. My body began to spin, and realizing I had no control, I prepared for impact. I remembered that a child doesn't get hurt when they fall because they don't tense up. I closed my eyes and relaxed, accepting the imminent fall. When I hit the ground, it felt like a giant hand cushioned my fall, pulling me out of my physical body. I heard the sound of the impact fading away like an echo, a muffled noise that grew distant as I separated from my body. Suddenly, I found myself floating, standing upright. I could feel the gentle breeze and the smell of the forest around me. Everything was so clear and detailed. At first, I thought I was dreaming, but soon realized it was something deeper. As I floated, I started to ascend slowly. Looking down, I saw the landscape, the colors more vivid than we usually see. I felt a sense of lightness and freedom. A voice inside my head told me I needed to go up. It was a calm and serene voice, yet insistent, as if I were wearing internal headphones. I looked up without moving my neck and realized I didn't need to move my head to look in any direction. It was as if I had multiple eyes, able to look anywhere instantly. I continued to ascend, and looking down, I saw the city of Jundiaí. I recognized the familiar buildings and realized I was above the Serra do Hapi, where I used to fly. I saw my car, a blue and white Ford Rural, parked at the top of the hill. I remembered the accident and the fall. I saw my brothers, Gilson and Osmer, coming down the hill to help me. Osmer was so nervous that he dropped a backpack along the way. I knew exactly where it was, even though I was floating far above the ground. As I continued to ascend, the voice inside my head kept repeating that I needed to go up. Suddenly, I noticed I was in a beam of colored light that stretched up to the sky. The voice told me that it was the Holy Spirit. I was surprised and jokingly thought about the symbol of the dove, but the voice corrected me, saying the dove was just a religious symbol created by humans. As I watched the landscape, I saw my brothers arriving at the crash site. When they started to move the hang glider, I felt a sudden pull and was abruptly thrown back into my body. It was like a high-speed journey, an instantaneous molecular displacement. I returned to my body, but couldn't fully enter at first. I began to scream for my brothers to stop moving me. I finally managed to fit my right hand and then my right leg. I couldn't find my left arm and leg, thinking they had been torn off in the impact. When I eventually re-entered my body completely, I felt the intense pain of my fractures. My brothers took me to the hospital, where I was treated for multiple fractures, but no major injuries. During my recovery, I insisted they find Osmar's backpack. He had dropped it along the way, as I had seen during my NDE. I drew a map showing where it was, and they found it exactly where I indicated. This experience proved to me and my brothers that I had indeed been out of my body, observing everything from a different perspective. When I was thrown back into my body, I felt a strong resistance, as if I were trying to fit into a tight, uncomfortable space. I tried to communicate with my brothers, but my words came out distorted, as if they were being heard underwater. Every time I tried to move my body, I felt resistance, as if trying to adjust within a rigid frame. The first thing I managed to fit was my right hand. I felt the connection between my astral hand and my physical body, and began to move my fingers to prove to myself I was returning. When I finally fitted my right leg, I felt momentary relief, but there was still a sense of incompleteness. My left arm and leg seemed absent, and I began to despair. While my brothers tried to move me, I felt sharp, intense pain radiating throughout my body. I asked them to stop moving me, as it made it harder for me to re-enter. When I finally fitted my head and vocal cords, the connection established in a way that allowed me to shout for them to stop. It felt like fitting the last piece of a complex puzzle. At the hospital, while waiting for treatment, I felt excruciating pain. Every movement seemed to aggravate the fractures, and the discomfort was nearly unbearable. The doctors decided to set my dislocated arm without anesthesia, an experience that caused indescribable pain. I bit the pillow and held the bed with all my strength. The pain was so intense that my family, waiting outside, could hear my screams. Despite the pain, there was a sense of peace and understanding permeating my consciousness. I knew there was a reason I had returned to my body. I had a mission to fulfill, and part of it was sharing my experience with others. I felt a deep connection with something greater, an energy that linked me to the universe and all living things. During my recovery, I reflected a lot on the experience and its meaning. I believe the voice I heard and the beam of colored light were manifestations of a spiritual energy that connects us all. This experience taught me that life continues beyond the physical body and that our consciousness is part of something much greater. The concrete proof of my NDE came when my wife, Helena, and my brothers followed the map I drew and found the backpack exactly where I had indicated. This external validation of what I had seen while out of my body reinforced my belief in the continuity of consciousness and the existence of a spiritual realm. Today, I see life from a different perspective. I know we are not just physical bodies, but spiritual beings with a mission and purpose. The near-death experience taught me about the importance of faith, spiritual connection, and the continuous pursuit of knowledge and personal growth. I believe sharing my story can help others understand that there is more to life than what we see with our physical eyes. I hope my experience inspires others to explore their spirituality and seek a deeper understanding of their existence. My experience also made me realize that we are all connected by a greater energy, a force that transcends the physical and links us to all living beings and the universe. This understanding brought a new sense of purpose and peace to my life, and I hope it can bring the same to others who hear my story. The recovery journey was long, but full of discoveries. Each day was a new opportunity to reflect on the experience and its impact on my life. I was able to reconnect with my spirituality in a way I had never experienced before. I began to value small moments more and the connection with people around me. Seeing everything from an external perspective during my NDE profoundly changed my understanding of the world. I realized that we are often trapped by the physical and mental limitations we impose on ourselves. My out-of-body experience showed me that there is much more beyond what our physical senses can perceive. My family was also deeply impacted by my experience. My brothers, initially skeptical, couldn't deny the accuracy of my account about the backpack's location. This confirmation brought a new perception for all of us about the nature of existence and the possibility of life after death. Over the years, I have shared my story with many people. Some were skeptical, while others felt inspired and found comfort in knowing that consciousness continues after physical death. My hope is that by sharing my experience, I can help others find peace and seek their spiritual connection. My near-death experience was a turning point in my life. It taught me that life is precious and that each moment should be lived with intention and purpose. I learned to value human connection and the importance of being present for those I love. I believe my mission is to continue sharing this message and helping others find their spiritual path. Ultimately, my NDE was a blessing in disguise. It gave me a unique perspective on life and death and allowed me to reevaluate my priorities and values. Today, I am a more conscious and spiritually connected person, grateful for each day I have to live and learn. So what did you like most about this story? Personally, I found it fascinating that even Nilton's brother, who had dropped the backpack on the mountain, didn't know where it was, but Nilton, out of his body, was able to draw a map for his brother to locate it. This undoubtedly proves that life continues. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, please share it with those you love. Thank you.